For many of us, our pets are as much a part of our family as the human members of the pack. Leeloo was very much a part of the Shobe family. She was a rescue puppy. She lived with Michael, his wife Tori, and their toddler Melody. But as the years progressed, her behavior became harder and harder to manage. Then, last fall, a terrible close call led to a heartbreaking decision. Leeloo could no longer be part of the family. One morning last November, Michael loaded Leeloo into the car and drove south.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get in the car. All right, ready?
One last road trip before the end.
This is a real somber drive, man. Oof. Leeloo's a pushy little dog. She will advocate for her agenda fiercely. She would come and rest her chin on my knee and just stare at me, but her tail would be wagging. Her tail's really strong. I mean, her tail dented the garbage can in the kitchen. She wags it so strong. So when she'd be resting her head on my knee, trying to get my attention, and her tail was wagging, her motion would actually rock me. So it was like her way of shaking my leg. Hey man, look at me. Give me some petting. I'm gonna miss that. To be honest, I'm having trouble remembering good times right now. Kind of the only thing I can focus on is what's ahead. When I think about Leeloo and her issues with dogs and children, I often think about one day in particular. It was in the first year that we had Leeloo. It was in the spring, and up to this point, Leeloo was a model citizen around other dogs. And one spring afternoon, I got home from work, and we went to Mount Prospect Park. And there were about a half dozen dogs playing together off leash. I was playing fetch with Leeloo, and a golden retriever was playing fetch with its owner. And on one play, their paths collided, and the golden retriever took Leeloo out in a big way. She hit her right in the side, and Leeloo rolled over a couple times and came back to me, and something happened in her head. From that day forward, she was a little more apprehensive about dogs and started confronting them little by little, and each incident built off the last until she really was a liability in group settings. So we stopped taking her to the park. How you doing back there, Leeloo? You good? You being a good girl? Yeah, that's a good girl. Hi. Mornings are pretty special since Leeloo lives in the basement. In the mornings, I'd get up and let her out back. Melody would be with me. She'd be in her high chair, having her bottle, watching Leeloo do her thing out there, sniff around, roll around in the grass, sit in the morning sun. And then she'd come back in, and when Melody let me know she wanted to get down, I'd first take Leeloo to the basement and feed her, tell her she was a good girl, and then go back upstairs and take care of Melody.
Welcome to Maryland.
I just passed a shopping center called Mason-Dixon, so I am going to just assume now that I'm in the South. On Father's Day 2015, it was my first Father's Day, we had that spring started leaving the back door open to the porch. We would always have our eye on Leeloo if the door was open. My mom was FaceTiming one of her friends, and she wanted us to say hi, so we all kind of gathered around and we're saying hi, and then we hear the sound of a kid screaming for help, and I bolt out the back door, barefoot, down the hill, through the tree line, and there's Leeloo on top of this kid's golden retriever, Leeloo's got the dog pinned, and I activate the 10-second shock collar, and she gets off the other dog, and the dog bolts into the woods. After that day, we didn't ever leave the back door open for her anymore. And we are in Virginia. Eastern Virginia, that's what they call it. We are in Eastern Virginia. Leeloo's still just back there snoozing. She's curled up in a ball in the crate. She just let out a big sigh. When we adopted Leeloo, we really weren't sure about what we were doing. But Tori and I figured that if we were gonna have a dog, we were going to rescue a dog. We did have some apprehension. I mean, it wasn't like on a whim that we rescued a pit bull, but I'm really glad we did. Despite everything that's happened, she is the best dog I've ever owned. I'm super glad that we got to have her in the pack for as long as we did. Oh man, I'm really starting to struggle a little bit with what's coming up here in a couple hours. I mean, I have never driven this far going the speed limit ever in my life. Trying to make this last little bit last as long as I can. The morning of the bite, I was asleep, but from what I heard, all hell broke loose. I hear Tori screaming, "Bad dog, no, bad dog," like screaming like I've never heard her scream before in my life. So I'm out of bed in like a heartbeat, and I come down and Melody's by herself on the couch and crying. So the story is that Leeloo's asleep on the ground and Tori's sitting with Melody watching TV. Leeloo just wakes up out of nowhere and lunges and snarls and goes for Melody's face and connects. But Tori's there and she tackles Leeloo, takes her to the basement. I'm holding Melody and try to console her. And she's got blood dripping down her forehead. I could see a long cut, kind of in two parts. She had a little bloody nose. As soon as Tori comes back, she grabs her out of my arms and totally breaks down. And that was it. We both knew, without even saying a word, that Leeloo had to go. So I made a little coffee stop, took Leeloo out for a little walk here. Having a little old-fashioned donut. I do hope we're making the right decision. A surprising number of people recommended to put her down. People who work with dogs every day, behaviorists, the woman who rehabilitated Leeloo when she was rescued as a puppy, they all said put her down. And that night, after contacting 30 to 40 dog rescues all up and down the East Coast, we got an email from this place in Virginia Beach. It's a place that rehabs dogs using a pack of other dogs. I don't know exactly how they do it, but Leeloo's going to start at the bottom. I do know that. She's going to learn to live around other dogs and not be afraid of other dogs anymore. So we are 1 hour away from getting to the rescue. Last hour in the car with Leeloo. She's a little apprehensive today. She was really nervous when we got out to take a little walk back there. She's starting to sense something weird is happening, I think. I'm really hoping for her that she's able to find some mental peace. That's something that has eluded this dog in her life so far. do well here at this rescue. I know that this is the best thing for her, but it's not easy. This is not easy. You know, when you rescue a dog, you take this animal into your life and you learn to love it. And I felt rescuing her that I was giving this animal a home forever, a place where she could be safe and feel loved, and I feel like I'm failing her a lot right now. You know, she's my buddy. She's my dog. I'm sorry. Oh man, I am not ready for this.
All right, well, we're here. Good girl. Yeah, good girl.
Leeloo now lives at the Forever Home Rehabilitation Center in Virginia Beach. She's learned to get along with her new pack. The staff there send regular photo and video updates. Michael says he loves seeing her looking so calm and relaxed. Michael Shobe and his family live in Croton-on-Hudson, New York. And in late January, they welcomed a newborn son, Kendrick James Shobe, to the pack.